Board of Assessors, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. I have a few things that I have to read before we get started. This is Mary Caputo, Chair of the West Hartford Board of Assessors, and I'd like to welcome you to the virtual October 8th, 2020 meeting of the board. Because in-person attendance at public meetings is likely to increase the transmission of COVID-19, this meeting is being conducted in accordance with Governor Lamont's Executive Order Number 7B, as extended by Executive Order Number 9A, which permits municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Board members and some town staff are participating by WebEx. The public can watch this meeting on Comcast Channel 5, Frontier TV Channel 6098, or on www.whctv.org. Because of the virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to please mute your devices when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you. If you are participating via audio only, or I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then please unmute your phone and let me know so I can recognize you. Second, pursuant to Executive Order 7B, all speakers must state their name and title each time they speak. Third, because of the difficulty in tallying voice votes on a video conference, I will require that all votes be taken by roll. I will now call the roll, and please answer either here or yes, so we know you're alive and kicking. Terry Szymanski.
Present.
William Prensky.
Here.
James Healy.
Here.
And Mary Caputo, here. We also have some other people from the town participating in this meeting, and they will identify themselves if and when they speak. So let's get on to the agenda. We're going to take the agenda in the order in which it was published. The first meeting on our agenda is the minutes of the March 12th, 2020 meeting. Do we have any discussion? You should have all received a copy of these. Any discussion? Looks like everybody's happy. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes. Bill Prensky
has moved to approve the minutes. Can I get a second?
Terry Szymanski moves to second. Second, yeah, whatever. Second. Second's that motion, yeah.
All right, so let's take a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes. Terry Szymanski.
Approve.
Bill Prensky.
Approve.
James Healy.
Approve.
Mary Caputo. Approve. All right, let's move on to number 2 on our agenda. And this is a request for tax exempt status for personal property from Connecticut Conference of Independent Colleges, and they're located on Raymond Road. Joe, you sent us some information on this taxpayer. And it looks like they had tax exempt status previously and on some other things before they moved out of town, and then now they're back. And I think there's going to be some discussion on this, but Joe, if you'd like to just give us a quick rundown on this particular item, would be great.
The Connecticut Conference of Independent Colleges moved from West Hartford to Farmington in March of 2009. And I believe the records have been disposed of utilizing the state librarian's records retention schedule. I haven't verified that yet, but I've looked high and low for these, and I've had staff working on it too. And at this time, we're unable to locate those original documents. We have requested additional information from them as a result of that. And based upon that, I would ask the board to consider tabling the matter until we get updated information on their organization. And I suspect we'll have it by the next board meeting.
Any other discussion, any other requests from any other board members on this particular item? Teresa, unmute.
Yeah, so this was an email that I sent yesterday, and then Mary said, bring it up at the meeting. And this actually applies to all of the information that we got, but I feel that as board members and as part of our due diligence, we should be looking at the 1281.7, whatever it is, and whatever they're requesting for either personal property or real property to be tax exempt. And part of our due diligence should be looking at their organization document, which says, we were organized for the sole purpose of whatever, and then looking at whether some documentation as to whether they actually are operating that way. And also, and I feel like we usually get this. And the third thing is, I think they're supposed to be showing us that no profit is going to a board member, an employee, an officer, unless they did some actual work for us. So I guess with respect to all of these agenda items, I'm hoping to see that. I do feel, I don't know how everybody else, but I feel like as a board member, it's part of my due diligence to make sure I look at that documentation.
Okay, this is Mary Caputo again. Are you talking about their 990s? You want to see?
No,
their tax returns or
their
just their organizational documents?
certificate of, or their articles of organization, whatever that, yeah. However I guess, yeah, whatever their articles are of organization, their bylaws maybe. And also we usually get a financial statement that talks about no profit going to an officer, an employee. I think we usually see that usually in the documents that Joe sends. So I get, again, as a board member, I feel that part of my due diligence should be looking at that information.
Yeah, I agree with you. Joe, is that something we can get from them?
From anybody, from all of these.
We certainly can, but let me just draw one distinction here. This particular item, and I'll wait till we get to the other item to comment on that one, but this particular item, well, I stand corrected. We're still talking about the Connecticut Conference all right, so this looks like it will be a new application, and as Teresa pointed out, we customarily would request the 990s from the organization, any organization material on their marketing and basically what is it that they do as a 501c3 organization. So I think my sense is that we're going to have to start from scratch with CCIC on that. However, for the other two applications, these are not new applications. These are supplemental acquisitions of property. So, and I don't know if it's protocol to just jump around like this. Do you want me to do that, or do you want to finish up
No,
with CCIC?
I think I know where you're going on this. So let's take this one item right now, because you're right. It's a new application. Because although they had tax exempt status before, we don't know what's happened in the last couple of years. So I think Terry's questions are good ones. So let's, at your suggestion, let's table this particular request at this time until we get additional information. As you said, probably before our next board meeting, and then we can discuss it then. I don't think I have to take a vote on this. I think this is something we don't actually vote on, but we just agree to table until the next time. So shall we move on then to item number, what item are we on? We must be on item number 3. Request for tax exempt status, the Children's Museum on Trout Brook Drive. Joe, want to give us a quick rundown on this one? Unmute.
This is a point that I was alluding to on the first agenda item. This is not a new application. They have acquired a motor vehicle that they initially had on lease with the Ford Motor Company, and now under 12-87, which essentially requires them to file a supplemental report to include that property under the umbrella of the exemption that they already have. Now, having said that, we can ask them for whatever you would like to see in terms of updated information. We certainly can do that. I don't know if we had a practice of doing that, but I don't think it's a bad policy to do that, to make sure we have updated information on a file.
Well, I'll just give you my opinion on this, and then I'm going to open it up to discussion. This is a supplemental tax exempt return. They have already received tax exempt status from us on the rest of the equipment that they have. So I'm not sure at this point in time that we would say, okay, prove to us you're a tax exempt agency. But that's certainly up for discussion. And I'll open it up to everyone. Anybody have any thoughts on this? Terry?
Yeah, hi, this is Terry Samansky speaking. Again, I guess for me, it's just it's part of due diligence. I mean, if they are tax exempt and someone can tell me, yes, I've seen the documents and yes, they are, and you know, they came in, I guess they're I don't know what they are. I don't know which part of 1281.7 they filed under, but if someone can tell me that, I would like to know though that they do pass muster with respect to the things that they need to be under the tax exempt statute. So on file somewhere needs to be their document that says our sole purpose is, and we're operating that way, and nobody's receiving a profit. I'm happy if, you know, Joe, if you say they did that and the documents are on file, that would be okay with me.
Yeah, the question I have on especially the supplementals, not the new ones, but on the supplementals, is that if you're looking at that, are you suggesting that you would open up their entire file with respect to tax exempt status? So
No.
that you would maybe be looking at the rest of anything else that we've already been exempting. Would you be looking to reopen that issue for them?
No, I don't want to reopen. I'm really just saying, and I'm really just saying that me as a board member, the statute says they have to be this, that, and the other thing. And I really, as part of my due diligence, I feel like, you know, I just can't say, oh yeah, hey, here's two pieces of paper and it's fine. I need to know that somebody knows that that has happened and that those documents are on file. I don't need to open up anything and have them resend this and resend that, because I'm highly confident that they have on file somewhere with us those documents that show those things.
So you're really looking for Mr. Dakers to go back into our meaning the town's records to see when they were given tax exempt status and what was shown to do that?
I guess that's what I was hoping that Joe would do. I don't know how, it was probably like a long time ago, and I don't know how easy that is to do, to go back into files and say, yes, those are there and sole purpose was and blah, blah, blah. But just to confirm or verify that that has happened, so that we can say we did all our due diligence.
Yeah, I understand your concern. Joe, is that something that's easily doable, impossible, going to take a long time? What
Right, yeah.
about?
It's easily doable. I have their file here, but I think in respect of Teresa's request, I can give their documents to you. I have their folder in front of me. I have their most recent application that's updated every 4 years. Was in 2017, so they're scheduled to refile again next year in order to maintain their exemption. that I can't see when it was originally approved, but I'm sure it goes back quite some time, judging from how some of these documents look. The oldest document that I have here, the application, was in 1993. What I don't have here in their file is the letter from us that informed them that their exemption request was approved by the Board of Assessors. So I can only presume that as a result of their current exemption status, that they at some time in the past did get authorization for the exemption request on their real property, on their location here on Trout Brook Drive.
Well, let me ask this question. It's a little one-off, but when an organization refiles, so you're saying they should be refiling next year for
Right.
their tax exempt status. Do they provide us with all that information again? Like
Yes.
their 990s and their articles of incorporation or bylaws, or, all that additional information? Or do
No.
we just take it as a stamp of, here's our 2 pages, we're renewing what we had before?
Joe Dacre speaking. It's, at that point, it's really perfunctory. We'll take a look at the new application, comparing it to the old application, and if we don't see any anomalies in the information provided, it's a rubber stamp. But again, if we see something that is unusual, we are not precluded from asking them for any additional information we think is necessary in order for them to maintain their exemption. In my,
Go ahead.
yeah, in my tenure, I haven't seen any oddball situations.
Considering
Mary?
Terry's questions, it might not be a bad idea to actually ask for that information upon renewal of tax exempt status when they file. Different subject that we can take up at another.
Yeah,
Terry.
and I guess I'm thinking now, so if somebody filed originally, and I know because I've been on the board a while now, and I feel like, Joe, I feel like a lot of the time you do have that, like you do give us their articles of incorporation that say, here's our purpose, it's charitable, whatever, educational, whatever it is. And then the 990 is going to come up every year because you file one every year, but the articles of incorporation, I think that's one and done pretty much, right? I mean, people file that and then they send it to you the first time. So I don't know that we would ask them for that every time because we should have it on file for the first time. So I guess that's really, I'm sorry.
Amendment to that.
If there's an amendment to their articles, which there very well could be. So, I mean, again, I feel like, for me to be on a board and to just get somebody saying, hey, yeah, we're good. Okay, that's good. And I can see that, the situation, like if you are a charitable organization or you do fall under the statute, that's fine. I approve, but I have never, if I have never seen their original documents and I don't have anybody saying to me, yeah, I looked at the original file and there it was. Either way would be fine.
Fair enough. We can do that. Joe speaking, we can do that with respect to the renewal applications that come before the board. The only applications that come before the board are the supplemental property that's acquired from an already tax exempt entity. For all of the new applications, Teresa, you're absolutely correct. We provide you with as much documentation that we can get from the organization requesting the tax exemption.
Okay, so Mary, maybe, I mean, again, we shouldn't take too much more time on this, I guess, but so maybe the policy could be that with renewals, they are tax exempt, and somebody has looked at that along the way because somebody did the due diligence, and with respect to new ones, that we will always get the organization documents, something like that, so that we can do our due diligence.
All right, that's something we'll have to take up as a
Exactly.
policy at a future meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll note that and bring that up at a future time. With respect to this supplemental tax exempt return,
Mhm.
are you still concerned that we have a problem here, or do you want to?
No, I never thought we had I don't think we have a problem. I just, again, I need to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing on this board, so. But no, I don't have a problem with the Children's Museum.
Okay, I saw, there's just one thing on this one that I saw as an issue, and that it seems like our records, the West Hartford records, are still showing Ford Motor Credit Company as the owner of the vehicle. Yet the DMV has this thing registered to the Children's Museum, Inc. Is that something we can fix on our side, Joe?
Well, when the Children's Museum acquired the property, I believe it was in May of 19,
Yeah, I think it was March 2019.
March, yeah.
March of 2019.
Mute myself.
And the document that you're looking at, let's see here.
No, it's November 2019.
Yeah, so as of October 1st, the assessment date, the property was still owned by Ford Motor Company, which is why that printout shows Ford Motor Company.
I'm confused.
Well, the assessment date in Connecticut is October 1st. So
I know that.
whoever has title to that property on the lien date, they're going to show up in the land records. So any bills that came out in June of 2020, it would be under the name of Ford Motor Company, not the Children's Museum. As of October 1st, 2020, the car will be not as of October 1st. Effectively, as of October 1st, the car is now registered in the name of the Children's Museum. So next year you'll see that. Essentially, what happens is the leasing company sends them the bill, and they're obligated to pay the taxes.
Right. All right. Well then, on this particular item, is there a motion anybody wants to come forth with on tax exempt status for a motor vehicle for the Children's Museum?
Bill Prensky, I move to accept the application of the Children's Museum for their supplemental property of this van, the tax exemption.
So you move to, you're moving
Approve.
to approve this? Okay. Can I get a second?
This is Terry Samansky speaking. I will second that.
Thank you, Terry. And let's take a vote. Terry Samansky,
I'm in favor.
Bill Prensky,
Favor.
James Healy,
In favor.
and Mary Caputo in favor. Right. On to item number 4, request for tax exempt status for real property for Bridge Family Center. And James, I think you stated you were going to recuse yourself from the discussion and the vote.
Yes, though I believe I could be impartial on it, my firm has been a supporter of their annual charitable event the last several years, and I've attended. And I think for that reason, just to avoid any appearance of impropriety, it's probably better for me not to just to recuse myself from the motion entirely.
We understand. Thank you. Thank you for coming forward with that. Joe, you want to give us a quick rundown on this one?
This one is similar to the Children's Museum situation in that this is supplemental property that the Bridge Family Center acquired at 1021, 1023 Farmington Avenue to use that building for their counseling services. This is I just had a property record card here. This is a multi-family house. I believe it was used as a two-family house. Actually, I think at one point in time, there was a medical office on one floor and the owner was living on another floor. Anyways, in any event, um, it's a $10,000 tax bill. One of my appraisal staff went out, they are using the property for those purposes. In May of this year, the town council, approved a zone change for them, from, I think, an RM3 to an R6 situation to allow for the, use that they were gonna be putting the property to. And I have a large file on them. Um, They've always been in compliance with their filing requirements. I have their articles of incorporation here. But in view of the comments that Teresa made, I am certainly willing to provide you with this additional information if you deem it necessary to take an action on the request. That's all I have.
Any concerns? Does everyone need to see these documents? If you do, please speak up.
This is Terry Samansky. I don't need to see them because Joe's telling me he has them.
Okay, so a statement from Joe is good for, for this purpose.
Sure.
Any other discussion on this? All right, can I get a motion to approve tax exempt status for the Bridge Family Center? Mr.
Bill
Prensky?
Prensky, I'll move to accept or approve the application for tax exemption.
And a second?
This is Terry Samansky. I'll second the motion.
Thank you, and let's take a vote. Terry Samansky,
In favor.
Bill Prensky,
Sure.
James Healy.
I have to confess, I'm not sure what
Oh,
I
I'm
have to
sorry.
say. Do I abstain
I'm sorry,
or
you're
formally or?
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
You have recused yourself. And Mary Caputa, I'm in favor also. Motion is approved. Is there any other business? We have gone through the agenda. Is there any other business that the board needs to bring up at this time? Just one thing I just wanted to mention. I know, Terry, when you brought up the issue on CCIC in an email, and I said you had to bring it up in front of the board. You have to, I think what needs to be understood is that whenever we send an email to the board on an issue, that sort of constitutes a meeting in the eyes of the town. So we can't really have a meeting unless we're all participating and it's been announced, and that's why I said you need to bring it to the meeting. So just so everybody understands that, I just wanted to bring that up. If there's no other business before the board, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating, and we'll see you next month, I guess. Thanks.